Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Sack here. Last night, February 19th, 2016, the NBA season resumed after the 1 week off from the All Star break. I want to show you what stood out about the Warriors at Blazers game and also Kobe's last game against the Spurs. We'll begin with the Warriors and Blazers game. It was another scripted game by the numbers. And by the end of the third score, I was able to predict what the final score would be. I was not surprised at all when the final outcome was 105 to 137, and I will show you why. Before we get to that, I just want to document that the Warriors are chasing the season's best record in the history of the NBA, chasing the Chicago Bulls. Last night was their 53rd game, and they suffered their fifth loss against the Blazers. What's interesting about the fifth loss coming against the Blazers in the 53rd game is that Trailblazers has gematria 53. And I have no doubt that last night's loss was scripted for the Warriors. Their entire season has been scripted. I've been documenting this in numerous posts. This is the latest. So now let me show you why the score was 105 to 137. Last night's game came exactly 105 days before the start of the NBA Finals, and 105 is not an arbitrary number. As I've been showing for years, it is the Freemasons and the Zionists who control the NBA. Zionism and Masonry have gematria of 105. Last night's game, the Warriors finished with 105 points, 105 days before the start of the NBA Finals. Now, they were playing the Blazers, who are from the 33rd state, Oregon. And the Blazers finished with 137 points, right where I thought they'd end up with their high score at the end of the third quarter, because 137 is the 33rd prime number, and the NBA loves to give tributes to 33. With regards to it being 105 days from the NBA Finals has gematria of 33. So much of the NBA's history is coded around the number 33, as I have shown countless times. Also, at the beginning of this season, the Warriors were chasing the record win streak of 33 games, and they finished with 28 wins. Their streak began, though, last season in Portland, in the 33rd state, and that game was played on April 9th. The first game of the 28-game win streak was against the Blazers, chasing the streak of 33. What's up with the date April 9th is Warriors in gematria equals 49, a lot like 4/9 for April 9th. Also, at the beginning of this season, when the Warriors were on their record win streak, the 76ers were on a record losing streak. And Philadelphia, the home of the 76ers, is the birthplace of the Warriors. The Philadelphia Warriors, the first ever NBA team to win the championship way back in 47. With regards to Philadelphia, they won the NBA Finals 33 years ago before this year. Probably a major part of the reason they're having such an awful season this year. 76ers also happens to be the only name gematria in the entire league that sums to 105. They also lost last night. The team they lost to scored 121 points, the number of revelation. Philadelphia, the name, comes from revelation of the Bible, the original capital of this nation. Remember, the Warriors recently traveled to the modern-day capital. They arrived there with 44 wins, won with that amount of points. Curry also dropped 51 points in the game, and they gave a number 44 jersey to the 44th president after showing up in town with 44 wins. It's all part of a big show. Also, let's remind that the Warriors' win streak was snapped by the Milwaukee Bucks at 28 games. 28 and 33 are the only numbers when written out as words that have gematria of 156, special number, and so does Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks also snapped the streak of the Lakers in 1971 at 33 games. Same team in history. The Milwaukee Bucks went on to win the NBA Finals the year they snapped it for the Lakers. That was the same season Golden State arrived, the Warriors arrived in Golden State. They moved to Golden State the same year as the record 33-game win streak. See how all this history comes together when you think about it. In the background of this picture for Blazers and Warriors, you see Iguodala, the man who played the majority of his career with the 76ers. He was named the NBA Finals MVP, a tribute to Philadelphia, home of the Warriors originally. Last night, Curry got outplayed by Lillard, who's from Oakland, where the Warriors play. What else is interesting about yesterday's game is it came 57 days before the start of the NBA playoffs, which begin April 16th. Yesterday's date, the date of the game, also had 57 numerology, coming 57 days before the start of the playoffs. The playoffs last 47 days, just like the year of the first championship, 1947, when the Warriors won, the Philadelphia Warriors. With regards to April 16th, it's the 106th day of the year typically. Last year, there was a train wreck in Philadelphia where the train was said to be traveling 106 miles per hour, and I showed how in the NBA Finals, the scripting of that hoax story was synced up with the NBA playoffs, if you can believe it, as well as the release of the movie Trainwreck starring LeBron James. I have videos on all of it. It's a lot of information. I'm just trying to show people how sports are scripted like the news because we are in a Freemason-controlled nation, world, and they operate this way, as mad as it is. These people are insane. As for the number 57, it's a number that connects to championship. When you write out 57 as a word, it sums to 131, like Super Bowl, like championship. Lillard himself, who was the star of last night's game, was born on a date with 131 numerology. Perhaps he will be the player to return Portland to the NBA Finals, a place they haven't been since they faced the Chicago Bulls many years ago. Played against the Bulls in history, the Pistons in the NBA Finals, and also the only team they've ever beaten the Finals is the Philadelphia 76ers in the 76-77 season. Curry had 31 points last night, Lillard 51. They both played 31 minutes. Curry in gematria sums to 31. Just a little interesting note. Conspiracy equals 51, just like Freemason. Curry dropped 51 points in the game in Washington, D.C. Another coded out game I did a video on. Again, Lillard's from Oakland, where the Warriors are from. Damian Lamont Ollie Lillard, his birth name has gematria of 108, just like Golden State Warriors. Last night he had arguably his best career game, fitting. Earlier in the day, they also asked, is Curry as great as Jordan? Jordan never lost in the NBA Finals. My gut tells me the Warriors will be there this year, and they will lose, and that will cement the argument. Because part of the reason Jordan's referred to as the greatest is because he never lost in a championship. So there it is, another rigged sports spectacle by the numbers. I also said I was going to tell you what's up with Kobe. Kobe played his last game against the Spurs last night. Two teams that have had a lot of success by the numbers, as I have shown before. The Lakers lost with 113. Kobe Bryant in gematria equals 113, and perhaps I should just show you this on the calculator. All right, so Kobe, last night, 113 points for the Lakers in his final game against the Spurs, one of his greatest rivals in the Western Conference in his time in the league. The name Kobe Bryant has gematria of 113, a very special number. Earlier this year, he gave the poem Dear Basketball, talking about his retirement. I want you to notice that Dear Basketball is 113 and 41, just like the name Kobe Bryant. Many stars of the NBA have shared the gematria of 113, including Michael Jordan, closely modeled after. Michael Jordan once unexpectedly retired January 13th, 1999. That was a date with 33 numerology. Michael's a name with 33 gematria, just like the name Kobe. The NBA, it stars so many 33 names. Here's another one for the Lakers, Magic. Think about how Magic went against Bird. And of course, these men all made multiple appearances in the NBA Finals. The NBA, very much centered around this league, 33, because these numbers are very important to the Freemasons. The branch of Freemasonry that dominates this nation is Scottish Rite Freemasonry. Scottish has the gematria of 113. This number also shows up in things that are mainstream, such as pro sports, things that are dishonest, such as pro sports. Think about all the fans who think they're watching natural performances, not realizing they're rigged, predetermined spectacles. All the people who get their hearts broken over these deceptive games. Now, last night, the Lakers lost to the Spurs with 119 points. 119 is not an arbitrary number. All-Seeing Eye has gematria of 119. So does Star of David. And these are symbols of the Masons and Zionists. And one of their favorite teams, their most symbolic teams, is the San Antonio Spurs. So I'll show you something about the Spurs real quick. The Spurs star player for many years has been Tim Duncan, who wears the number 21. Notice that Spurs and Duncan both equal 21. He wears number 21. On their court is a horseshoe, but also the letter U, which is the 21st letter. U is 21. 21 is also a number that corresponds with Saturn, the keeper of time. And I want to show you what Saturn and Spurs have to do with each other. Saturn and Spurs both have this gematria of 93 as well. This is another very important number to the Masons, to the Zionists. In the Zionist state of Israel, their Congress is Knesset, which has the gematria of 93. Israel was drawn up on the date September 3rd. As I speak of Israel, you should be thinking of the Jewish bosses of the NBA. Oh my goodness, I can't think of his name. What's that little Zionist name? David Stern, Adam Silver. You know, do people ask themselves why Jews are in control of all these sports leagues? Because they should. It's the Jews who mostly practice this language of gematria. It's them who've always controlled the pro sports leagues, and it's them who've always rigged them by their numbers. And if you can't see it, I can't help you. I mean, it's just a big rigged joke. I need to start doing live broadcasts of the game so you guys can just hear me in the third quarter talking. Oh, I bet you anything this game finishes at 105, 137, and then boom, sure enough, it does. You know, you're in Vegas watching the game late in the third quarter, make a bet for this to be the final score, you got some money in your pocket. I'm not here for the money, though. I'm here to wake people up. Show them their sports are rigged. These athletes are actors selling their fans out. It all needs to get turned off, truth seeker, once and for all. All right. Oh, before we go, one more point. I know there's something I forgot to mention. Yesterday's game, Blazers were victorious. It was also a date with 37 numerology, which corresponds with the gematria of Portland, who defeated Golden State. All right, until next time.